Welcome or welcome back to my channel, everybody. You could probably tell from the title of the video that this is going to be the mid-year freakout book tag, or mid-year book freakout tag. I'm not entirely sure. I will look it up before I post this, so the title should be the correct way that you say that. I got this idea from Katie is Reading, but I know that she got the idea from other people. I guess it's a tag that's been around for a while. I just have not been part of BookTube for very long, but this year I saw Katie is Reading doing it and it looked like fun, and then I watched a couple others and decided that I wanted to do it as well. So I may be a little late to the party, but I wanted to try this. So let's get right into the first question. So the first question is, what is the best book I've read so far in 2021? And I do not have just one book for most of these questions. I have many books. Most of them I have with me and I can show you. Some of them I don't, and I may try to find a picture on Google if I can put it in here. I had trouble with that last time I tried, so we'll see. If not, I'll at least put the book title and the author name down here so you can look it up. Back to this first question. Of course, first I want to say PJO for sure. I didn't get these books out, but I do have Percy Jackson right here. So Percy Jackson and of course Heroes of Olympus. Great books. Absolutely love them. So they are my best rereads of the year. They're my only rereads of the year, but they're definitely some of the best books I've read this year. I also want to say that Prey was one of the best books I read this year. I really, really, really love this. If you didn't check out the video, you can find that somewhere on my channel. I'll try to put a card for it either over here or over here. Really, really amazing book. The second question is the best sequel that I've read so far in 2021. Now, I haven't read a lot of series in 2021. I did read the Chronicles of Fae, which is right over here. The Chronicles of Fairy, sorry. I did read these, and I did really enjoy them, so I guess they could make the list, but they weren't necessarily my favorites. They don't stand out as being favorites. I liked a lot of things about them, and I do want to reread them, just not really anytime soon. So, the first that I'm going to say for this question is the Heroes of Olympus series. I'm going to go with a sequel series because they are basically the sequel series to Percy Jackson, and I am really loving rereading them. I am learning so much more, so much that I missed, and I'm really, really enjoying them. It is taking me a while to get through them, but every time I sit down to read, I enjoy every second of it. So they would be the best sequel series that I've read this year, and the best sequels in general. I also really enjoyed On the Come Up, and I think this counts as a sequel. It's not exactly a sequel to The Hate U Give, but it is related, so I'm going to count it as a sequel. So this also would be the best sequel that I've read this year. Question 3 is, what is a new release that I haven't read yet, but I want to? I have 4 books for this question, and I actually own 2 of them right now, so hopefully I will get to them soon. First, Lore. I had to look up when this was published, but it was January, I believe. I don't remember now, but I think it was January, so this counts. Yes, Lore is one that I'm really, really excited for, and I just got it. If you watched my, I think 2 videos ago, if you watched 2 videos ago, this was included in the book haul, whenever the last book haul was, and I'm really, really excited to get to it. The second book, Untouchable, was also included in the book haul, and this was just released. I believe this was just released this month. It might have been June. Anyway, June or July, by a self-published author. So I'm really excited to read this one as well. And then the other 2 I don't have, and I actually didn't really remember these. I had to look up some books because I don't generally pay attention to when a book is released. I don't tend to get new books anyway, so when I do get a book, it's usually a couple years old. But I am really excited for The Maidens, as well as Lost in the Never Woods. So, like I said, I'll put the titles and authors down here. I'm excited for those 2. I would like to eventually get them. I'm not going to be buying them right now. I'm not that excited for them, but they definitely did really intrigue me when I saw them a couple months ago. I saw that they were coming out. Question number 4 is, what is my most anticipated release for the second half of 2021? Again, I had to look up what books were coming out. There is one short story that I already knew. I'm so excited for this. The other 2 I had to look up, but then when I saw them, I was like, oh yeah, I am ready for that. I am excited for that. I just don't always remember when things come out again. So anyway, the first one is a book or a short story that was written by an author on Instagram that I've come to know, and I beta read this story and I loved it so much. I really, really loved it. So it's a short story, and I believe she's planning on publishing it in December of this year. That's the last I heard, at least, and I really hope she does, because as soon as I finished it, I told her that I wanted to own it and a hard copy of it, and if she wasn't planning on publishing it, then she needed to. And she told me that she was actually planning to publish it, and I was very happy. So as soon as she does, or as soon as I can pre-order it or whatever, I'm going to order it because I loved this story. And the title that I'm remembering for it is One Life Changes Everything. I don't know if she's going to keep that title or if I'm even remembering it correctly, but that's what's in my memory. Yeah, it was a really, really amazing short story. So I will leave her Instagram down below if you want to go check her out and keep a lookout for this short story release. And you can contact her more about it if you're interested to know about it. She did also recently make a reel for the story on Instagram. So yeah, you can check out more about it there. But it was amazing. It was really amazing. It actually made it onto the list for another one of these questions, so I'll get to that. But yes, I'm very excited for that one. The other two that I'm excited for, I am really excited for You've Reached Sam. I heard about this one from Jesse the Reader, and I'll leave a link to his channel down below. But yeah, You've Reached Sam, and I'm excited for this one. It sounds really, really cool. So that was one that caught my eye, and then an honorable mention is A Spindle Splintered. I always want to say a splintered spindle. So, A Spindle Splintered. It is a fairy tale retelling, and I love fairy tales and I love retellings, so I'm really excited for that one as well. Question number 5 is, what is my biggest disappointment of 2021 so far? And this was a hard one because I've actually really liked all of the books that I've read, even if I didn't like everything about them. But my first answer for this is going to be the first few chapters of 180 Seconds. If you've watched my review, you know that I hated it going into it. I hated it within the first couple pages, within the first 5 pages. I really despised it, and I despised the main character, and I wanted to give up, and I didn't like it for a few chapters. But in the end, I did end up really liking it, so I can only say that the first few chapters were a big disappointment. The second book that I guess could count for this is The Hate You Give. Now, that's not to say that I didn't like the book, because I did. I really did like this book. There was just a lot about it that I didn't like as well, so it was kind of disappointing. Just what I expected from it. Some of what I expected I got, and some of it I didn't expect, and yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a disappointment. I have mixed feelings about this book, I guess, so it's the only other one that I could think of for this question, because like I said, I really liked all of the other books that I've read this year. Question number 6 is the biggest surprise of 2021 so far as reading goes, of course. So I have a few for this question, and I am reusing books as well because they don't fit into just one category or one question. So biggest surprise, 180 Seconds for sure. On the one hand, going into it, I thought that I would love it. And then I ended up hating it after the first few pages. So it was a huge surprise when it became one of my favorite books. I really, really love this one. And I want to reread it someday and try to not hate the first few chapters, get to where I love the whole book. But this was a huge surprise because after getting just a little bit into it, I thought I was going to hate it, and then I ended up loving it. So this was a roller coaster. Another big surprise, I guess, would be Prey, because I really loved this one as well. This is definitely one of my favorites that I've read this year. Yeah, it was a big surprise for sure, because I had picked it up a couple years ago, or at least last year, and tried to read it and didn't make it very far into it. So to fall in love with it so much this time around was a huge surprise. Another one that may not surprise you if you've been watching my channel, but another big surprise was Harry Potter. This is a series that I have been putting off for a very long time, and a friend finally convinced me to read it, and I read the first book and I loved it. So this was another big surprise because I didn't expect to get into the series as much as I have. And I haven't continued with it yet, but that's mostly because I've just had other books to read, and I want to buy the books before I read them. I don't want to just get them from the library because I'm a slow reader, and the added pressure of having a time limit on when I can finish the books, it doesn't help. So I will finish the series eventually, but this was a big surprise and I loved it. I'm going to include Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus here as well. I was not surprised that I loved them. I already knew that I loved them, but I was surprised by how much more I learned from the books and how much more I fell in love with them. because I already love them. But now the characters are so much more amazing to me, and the story is so much more amazing, and the storytelling and the plot and the foreshadowing and just everything has been a huge surprise because I don't remember noticing that the first time that I read it. The first time I fell in love with the characters and the plot and the fact that it was based on Greek gods. And I fell in love with that, and that's all that I really remembered about them. And now I'm just seeing how much more amazing they are. So they have been a big surprise to me as well. Question number 7 is who is a new favorite author, and that is new to me, not necessarily newly published. I'm going to answer Rick Riordan first of all for this question because yes, I loved him before and he was a favorite author, but like I answered for the last question, he was a favorite author just because I loved the characters and that it was Greek gods really. Now he's a new favorite author because I look up to him. As a writer and an author myself, I look up to Rick Riordan. I think his storytelling is so amazing, and I didn't realize that the first time around. Yes, I knew that he could write an amazing plot and amazing characters, but now I see even more how amazing his characters are and how deep they are, how layered they are, and how much they go through, how much they change. And I'm learning how well he can craft a plot, and I love seeing the foreshadowing. Since I've read the books before, I know what's coming, and so in the chapters beforehand, I pick up on little things that are hints to what's coming. But if you've never read it, you don't really realize that they're hints. Rereading it, I'm seeing so many hints that he sprinkles throughout the book before big things happen, and it's been really amazing. So he's definitely a new favorite in a different way than he was before. Another new favorite is C.D. Hewlin, who is a self-published author who wrote Abort, and this is actually a new release this year. I forgot that until just now. But yeah, this was one that I really highly anticipated as well, and I am so happy to have read it. I bought it and read it right away. I read it in between Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus, which I wasn't planning to read anything in between those, but I had to read this one, and I really loved it. I love how he did the story and the characters, and I love the main idea of the story as well. So C.D. Hewlin is definitely a new favorite author, and I can't wait to see what he comes out with next. Question number 8 is, who is your newest fictional crush? Now, I had a hard time with this one because I hadn't really felt like I had any fictional crushes this year. Like, I can't even remember who my old fictional crushes are. I don't have a lot of fictional crushes from reading. Yes, I love Percy from Percy Jackson, and I love a lot of the characters from that, but they're not really fictional crushes, mostly because I am so much older than all of the characters I read about, since I've been reading middle grade in Percy Jackson, and then a lot of young adult, which, yeah, the characters can be older sometimes, but I find that they're usually teenagers still, and I'm not a teenager anymore, so I haven't really had fictional crushes, but I do have a few new ones. The more I thought about this, the more I realized I have a couple fictional crushes. They're fictional crushes, but kind of in different ways as well. Because I'm still older than 3 of them, so I don't know. I don't know. But the first one that I will say, the first new character that I at least like fell in love with and just absolutely love, Ray Matthews from The Unanswered Questions. I love Ray. He is just my favorite type of character, and yeah, Lauren did a wonderful job with him. I mean, of course, he's her character, but I mean, he's just so much fun. I love Ray so much. Whenever I see anything about him on her Instagram, I have to fangirl. Ray is one of my new favorites, for sure. 2 of my other favorites come from the Chronicles of Fairy series. The first one is Midir, and I'm including him in this, even though he makes the biggest appearance in The Hunter's Moon, which I read at the very end of last year. He still counts because he comes up later in the series as well. So I'm including Midir. I don't even know why, because we don't get to see him all that much in the books. From the very first time that we do see him, I really loved him. And I really wish that we had gotten to see him a lot more in the books. He plays a very, very small role, but I loved him. And I would love a book just about Midir. So maybe I will have to petition O.R. Melling to give Midir his own story so I can spend more time with him and get to know him better, because I love Midir. So he's definitely a new fictional crush. Also, Ian, kind of. So Ian from The Summer King, he's kind of a new fictional crush. Not exactly. Like, I kind of really liked him. I don't know. It's different. So like I said, none of these are like real fictional crushes. They're just characters that I really ended up liking for different reasons. So Ian I definitely liked as well. The final one, I don't really know if he fits here. but I kind of feel like he does. So Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter, I'm including him as a new fictional crush because, alright, so here's the thing. He's a total jerk in this first book. He really is, and I hated him most of the time. But I also got really, really excited the first time that we saw him and learned who he was because I've heard so much about Draco. So I'm including him as a new fictional crush because I'm kind of obsessed with him, and he's like what I'm most looking forward to reading future books. I really just want to find out what happens with Draco Malfoy. That's all I care about. That's all I want in these Harry Potter books is to find out what happens to Draco. So he counts as a new fictional crush, I think, even though I really hated him in this first book. My feelings about Draco Malfoy are weird and I don't understand them. I'm gonna leave it at that. So, moving on to the next question. So question number 9 is, what is a book that made me cry? For sure, 180 Seconds. I was in tears for the last few chapters of this book. Made me cry so bad. I had to move from where I was reading it to my bedroom so that I didn't just start bawling in front of my family because it made me cry so much. So 180 Seconds, top of the list here. And then the second one that I put is Abort. I don't know if I actually cried in this one. I can't remember now. I tend to almost cry in a lot of the books that I read. I don't know why. I empathize with the characters a lot, I think. And especially when I'm really attached to the characters. Whenever they're going through something, I feel for them. So I don't think I quite cried in Abort, but I definitely came close. Like, especially for new characters that I didn't know, I came very close to crying in this book, at the very least. Like I said, I can't remember if I actually cried or not, but I know that it definitely made me feel things, so Abort makes it onto this part as well. Question number 10 is a book that made me happy. You can probably guess that that would be Percy Jackson, the whole entire series, both series, because these have made me so happy reading them. When I got into The Lightning Thief, I was just so happy, and all the time reading them, so many smiles, so many times when I'm so excited for what comes next. So these books have definitely made me happy this year. Also, the Boggins in The Lightbearer's Daughter, really loved them, so they made me happy when I read about them. Question number 11 is favorite book to movie adaptation I've seen this year, or what is my favorite? And I have to say that I haven't watched a lot of book to movie adaptations, and the two that I remember watching, I haven't read the books for. So please don't hate me. Maybe they're not as great as I think they are, but I watched The Time Traveler's Wife, and I really liked that one. It was really interesting, and I didn't find out until later that it's based on a book, so now I want to get the book and read it, because I like that movie. And then we also watched A Series of Unfortunate Events recently, and that was a lot of fun. So I really like those two, even though I haven't read the books yet, and I'm sorry. I do want to read the books for both of them eventually. But yeah, those are the only two book-to-movie adaptations I remember watching. Well, except, obviously, Percy Jackson, but you know that I hated those. Even though I didn't get to put the video out, most of you should know that I hated those. Favorites would definitely be the other two, not the Percy Jackson movies. Question number 12 is, what is my favorite review that I've written? And I don't usually write reviews, so I'm going to change it and say my favorite review that I've recorded. But the thing is, I don't really remember what my favorite one is. I'm gonna say Harry Potter, just because I had a lot of fun with that book, and then I think I had a lot of fun in the review as well, talking about Draco Malfoy, and then also complaining about how stupid I think the whole wizard tests were that they had to get through to get to the Sorcerer's Stone. So even though I picked fun at it, I really loved it. So I think that would be my favorite review. And we're almost done. Question number 13 is, what is the most beautiful book that I have bought this year? And there are a few on this list. First up, of course, are my Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmare book set. I didn't get it down because it's late at night and I'm lazy and I didn't want to get it down. It's right up here, but if you haven't seen those, if you don't know what they look like, you can check out, again, my book haul video, my most recent one, because I show them in great detail there. So if you want to see what they look like, go check out that video. I'm just too lazy to do that right now, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to get them down and get them out of the box, and yeah, I'm not doing that tonight. So those are the top of the list though. The next one mainly comes down to preference, but off trail, I think that this one is beautiful. I didn't actually buy this one. I won this in a giveaway, but I love this cover. I really, really do. This is like my favorite style of cover, so I'm including this as one of the most beautiful books that I've bought this year, or that I've gotten this year. Of course, my 10th anniversary edition of Heroes of Olympus, they're gorgeous as well. Really, really gorgeous. I always love the artwork on those books. I don't remember the guy's name who does them right now, but they're always amazing. So I love those. Oh, John Rocco, I believe. Anyway, so those also are some. And then these are my honorable mentions because they are beautiful, but, you know, those made it to the top of the list. These are, like, still beautiful. Still very beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Just, they weren't at the top of my list. But here's Untouchable. I am absolutely in love with this cover. I love red, so I love the monochromatic theme of this. And the Unanswered Questions, I love the green on this. I love, again, the theme. I think it's really beautiful. Abort, again, was really amazing. I guess beautiful is very subjective, and it, to me, has a lot of different meanings with books. So I'm including this as one of the most beautiful books that I've bought because I really love the cover for it. This is another one, Because You'll Never Meet Me. I literally bought it for the cover. I think the story sounds like it could be very dumb, but I had to have it because I love the cover. Oh, my mom has one of my most beautiful books. Dang it. Well, I have this beautiful version of Where the Crawdads Sing, and you'll see that in my next video, or not my next video, but in my next haul video, I think. You'll see that one because I plan to do another haul for the books that I got at the thrift store, and that's one of them, but it has this beautiful, like, peachy cover. I really love that one too, but I don't have it with me. Another one that goes here, though, is The Pilgrim's Progress. This one isn't anything special. I just really like the color, and I think this is a really cool version of The Pilgrim's Progress. I feel like old books generally tend to have, like, boring covers and really, like, covers, but I really, really like this one. I think it looks pretty cool, so I'm including this as one of the most beautiful ones. Another one is Shadow, which is the sequel to Dust. So yeah, I really love this cover too. I love the cover for Dust, and I love this cover. And I wasn't going to include this one, but I will just because I love the book. I'm going to include Lore. I know it's kind of, the color scheme is boring, but I really love the cover. I love it. So this one counts as well. Final question. Hopefully I can really trim down this video because it is half an hour right now, and I didn't expect it to be more than like 10 minutes. So anyway, question number 14. The final question is, what books do I really want to finish by the end of the year? Or do I really need to finish by the end of the year? But that's too big of a goal to set for myself. So I'm going to say, which ones do I really want to finish? Definitely Heroes of Olympus. I would love to finish those this month, but there are only like 3 days left, and I'm working 2 of those days, and I have college, and then I have to pack. So I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to finish these this month, but definitely by the end of the year. I'm definitely going to finish them by like the first week of August. So the last 2 books in the Heroes of Olympus series for sure are on here. After that, I plan to read Wonder, so this is one that I have to finish by the end of the year. Untouchable is another one. Whenever I get a self-published book, I like to read it as soon as I can, so I'm reading that immediately after Wonder. Shadow, because it's a sequel to a book that I already have. Concrete Rose, because it is the 3rd Angie Thomas book, so I'd like to finish this one as well. Lore, because I'm super, super excited about it, so I want to finish this one if I can this year. Off Trail, I'm intrigued by this one and I'm excited for it, so I want to read this one this year if I can. I'm going to be going into college, and I don't do that much reading as it is right now. So after I officially start college in the fall, not just summer classes, going to college, I don't know how many of these I will make it through, so this is just what I would like to complete. If I can read all of these, awesome. If not, I'm not going to be too upset. Yeah, this is just the plan. So anyway, continuing down the list, maybe I will finally get to The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, though I doubt it because I don't plan to take this one with me to college, but maybe. You never know. I might change my mind and bring it with me. Frankenstein, which I don't currently have on my shelf. I don't think so. So Frankenstein is actually currently packed away, and I need to get it out because I want to take it with me to college and read it in October. So Frankenstein is one that I would like to read. And then possibly the Lord of the Rings books, because I am definitely bringing those with me to college in the hopes that I will finish them this year, finally. So the Lord of the Rings as well. And that's all I had on that list. That is a lot of books for me to want to finish this year. I don't know that I'll get to all of them. I kind of doubt it, but that's the plan right now. So that is finally the entire video. Like I said, I hope I can trim this down because it's very long, but it was also a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I did it tonight. If you want to go ahead and write down your answers to those questions as well, that would be awesome. Go ahead down below. I will leave all of the questions either in the description or in a comment. If I remember, I will try to pin that comment. I don't know if I can do that. Can you do that? I'm assuming you can do that on YouTube. I've never tried to though. But anyway, if you can, I will pin that comment so that you can get all the questions right there and go ahead and answer them, because that would be really fun. I'd love to hear all about your reading year so far. Or if you've done this in a video, comment, give me a link down below, or just let me know that you've done it and I'll check it out. I would love to. So let me know. If you have any comments on any of these books, let me know that too. Let's start a discussion down below. Let me know what you thought about the video. If you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, you can give it a thumbs down, but please let me know why and let me know how I can improve in my future videos. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That'd be awesome. To all of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. I have a couple new subscribers and I'm very thankful for you. And I'm thankful for the old ones too, of course. Thank you everybody who subscribed and watches the videos and likes them. Everything. Thank you. It really does mean a lot. I don't say it in every video, but it means a lot that you're here. Any sort of interaction that I have with you here on YouTube, that means a lot. So thank you to everybody. I hope that you liked the video and I will see you in the next one. Have a blessed day, everyone.